King Charles is on the lawn at Buckingham Palace this afternoon, hosting the first garden party of the 2026 season. 5,000 guests, military bands, frontline emergency workers in their dress uniforms, the Queen in a hat, Catherine in earrings that William reportedly gave her on Mother's Day, and in a 16-bedroom estate in Montecito, a little boy turned 7 today, and his own parents' brand has not posted a single image, video, or sentence on his behalf because Harry and Meghan have spent the last 48 hours fighting over whether the official portrait drops in time to anchor a $64 candle launch. So yeah, today we are covering Archie's 7th birthday and the silence Montecito accidentally produced this morning. The portrait standoff Harry and Meghan cannot resolve before sundown. The part-time royal pitch Harry has been quietly briefing through the British press. The on-the-record palace assessment of the Australia tour that has the offended party finally speaking out loud. The brand-new Christopher Anderson biography landing on the eve of Archie's birthday with the passage about Prince William before the Oprah interview. And the noble lunch Harry was photographed at on the morning his father flew home from Washington. So welcome back, my Royal Rogues. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Royal Rogue. Let's get down to it. Let me start with the calendar, because the calendar itself is doing the storytelling work today. King Charles and Queen Camilla are inside the gardens of Buckingham Palace as we speak. Roughly 5,000 guests drawn from the emergency services, the charity world, and the frontline workers Charles has spent his entire reign honoring on the spring lawn. It is the first garden party of the season, hosted 48 hours after the king flew home from a Washington state visit, so successful that the president called him elegant on the South Lawn, and Congress gave him 3 standing ovations. And on the other side of the planet, a little boy turned 7 today. Archie's birthday is the day that the sausage brand team has been counting down to for, 3 months? The candle was named after it. Signature number 506. Ginger note in the wax. $64 a piece. The portrait was supposed to be the soft light moment that lit up the e-commerce homepage. And on the actual morning of the actual birthday, the as ever channels are silent, and the sausage camp has not produced a single piece of public content on behalf of the 7-year-old whose face is the contested asset. So look at the contrast. The grandfather is on the lawn shaking hands with paramedics and volunteer firefighters. The grandson is in California behind a security gate with a brand team and a portrait war in the kitchen. Royal commentators went on the record overnight describing Charles as full of regret on this birthday, because it is the 4th consecutive May the 6th he has not held the boy, and the brand that owes its entire e-commerce inventory to the existence of that grandson cannot move a portrait through the front door because the parents cannot agree on whether it is a celebration or an inventory drop. Speaking of which, the standoff itself is the story of the week, and the insider quotes that landed on Closer and across the British tabs over the last 72 hours are unusually specific. Meghan reportedly wanted a Wales-style portrait released, soft, natural light, garden background, photographer name in the corner, the kind of frame Princess Catherine has been releasing for 15 years. The release was timed in the brand team's own internal language to anchor the as ever candle drop, the Mother's Day edit that has been sitting on the website with cooling sales for the better part of a fortnight. So photo lands at sunrise, candle moves at lunchtime, and brand recovers the week, I guess? Well, Harry, according to the news sources, is completely against it. And the line he is reportedly using inside the house gives the entire game away. He is, in the sources' framing, extremely worried that publishing a styled, branded portrait of Archie on the same day a $64 candle bearing Archie's title is on a checkout page is exactly the kind of activity that gets the children stripped of their HRH status by the palace lawyers down the line. Harry has finally noticed, 6 years late, there is a difference between using your child's name and trademarking your child's name. Yeah, he's on the wrong side of that line. And the candle has been sitting on the as ever cart since April 22nd, proving it. So the household tonight is doing the thing households do when a brand drop and a parental instinct collide on the same calendar square. The portrait is on a hard drive. The candle is on a website. The husband is panicking, and methane, as usual, is pushing. And the only person in the room with a no vote on any of it is the 7-year-old whose face is the contested asset in the middle. Which brings us to the briefing campaign Harry has been running through the British press this week. Closer dropped a story on the morning of May the 5th. And the entire commentariat has been chewing on ever since. According to multiple insider quotes, Harry is, by his own private description, very close to securing what he is calling a, wait for it, part-time working royal arrangement with King Charles. He is reportedly tired of the back and forth flights between Montecito and London. What is he gonna do about that? I don't know. Tired of the half-tour pseudo-royal optics in Australia and the leaked Lesotho itinerary. And is now telling people in his circle that his father is considering letting him do the British end of the Invictus Games countdown launch in Birmingham later this year as a returning member of the firm. Yeah, right. So listen to that one again. This is the same Harry who told Oprah the institution was a prison. The same Harry who told a Melbourne summit 2 weeks ago on stage, on camera, that being a royal killed his mother. The same Harry the palace publicly excluded from the Washington state visit through 3 royal commentators in 3 separate publications 8 days ago. That Harry believes a part-time working royal arrangement is sitting on his father's desk awaiting signature. Yeah, it's quite delusional. The only person currently entertaining a Harry return is Harry. The palace, the Foreign Office, the State Department, and every named royal commentator who has touched the question this fortnight have answered in the same direction, and the direction is, okay, let me check. It's no. And the wife is reportedly horrified at the very idea. Every insider line landing this week describes Meghan as desperate to keep the California life intact. The one-off fashion app, the as-ever candle catalog, the in-progress Diana clothing line, and the pending vow renewal whisper, all live inside a 16-bedroom estate in California. None of them survive a part-time relocation to Frogmore. So the marriage is now carrying 2 trains running in opposite directions on the same track. And the 7-year-old is the station they are both supposed to be standing on. Meanwhile, the British camp has finally said the line out loud. Marie Claire dropped a piece this past weekend with a palace source speaking on the record, not background, not whispered, on the record about the Australia tour the sausages staged last month. The framing the source used, paraphrase here, was that the trip was royal tour choreography masquerading as private business. The behavior was pretty outrageous, and the offense was sharpened by the realm question. Australia is a Commonwealth realm. King Charles is the head of state, and 2 private citizens with no working portfolio flew into a country where his face is on the currency, scheduled motorcades and wreath-laying ceremonies, and used the optics to drive sales on a fashion app and a chocolate box. Okay. So that is the line the Palace Press team has been holding back for 6 years. From the Sandringham Summit to the Spare release to the Netflix series to the Spotify implosion, the standing policy has been silence. The head office never gives an interview until last week. The fact that Marie Claire ran an on-the-record palace source describing the sausages Commonwealth tourism in the language of the offended party tells you the dial inside the Palace Press office has moved. Royal tour choreography is not a phrase you deploy when you're trying to leave a door open. It is a phrase you deploy when the door is bolted, the locks are changed, and the press office has been authorized to say so on a glossy magazine page. So the candle, the chocolate box, the one-off app, the Diana line, and the part-time royal pitch all sit inside a brand strategy the palace has now publicly classified as outrageous. And on the eve of Archie's birthday, a brand new biography hit the shelves with one of the quietly devastating passages of the post-Brexit era. Christopher Anderson, the same biographer who has tracked the family for 3 decades, dropped a book this week with page 6 running the most cited extract on the morning of May the 5th. The setup is March 2021, the week before the Oprah interview was about to land on CBS. According to Anderson's reporting, Prince William was so anxious about what his brother and sister-in-law were about to put on television that he could not eat. And I don't blame him. The household staff were reportedly worried about him. He was, in Anderson's framing, sick with worry over what was coming. And, well, the kicker is the sentence of the next page, because Anderson reports that William was specifically worried for Catherine. He had spent 5 years watching the sausage operation turn family conversations into press leverage. He had seen the Tom Bradby columns. He had watched the wedding tensions get briefed to the British tabs. And he knew, on the eve of Oprah, with 2 cameras pointed at his brother in Montecito, that whatever came out of that room would land directly on his wife. So, yeah, he stopped sleeping. He stopped eating. And he held his princess together while the broadcast detonated on a Sunday night in California. That is the Prince William the country has spent 5 years trying to understand. The man who refused to comment, refused to retaliate, refused to be drawn was a husband who was not eating during the worst week of his marriage. The country picking up the extract on the morning of Archie's 7th birthday is, by accident, looking at the most flattering portrait of a future king the British press has produced in a decade. And let me close on the receipt that Hello magazine put on the wires this morning. King Charles flew home from Washington on Sunday. The state visit had been the most successful diplomatic event of his reign. The president had called him elegant. Congress had given him 3 standing ovations. The American press had run with the line that Charles spoke for Britain better than the grandson who tried to gate-crash the agenda from Kiev. And as Charles was clearing customs in London, his son was photographed by Hello sliding into a noble lounge in Los Angeles with a couple of friends. No wife in the frame. No children in the frame, as usual. A casual khaki shirt, a sushi platter on the table. Yeah, typical gingerbread. The Hello source line was the most polite version of the dossier you will ever encounter. Things, the source said, are not always logistically or practically possible, meaning Harry could not, on the day of his father's homecoming, manage the 11-hour flight from Los Angeles to London for a tea at Clarence's house. He could, however, manage the 12-minute drive to Nobu, Malibu. The gingerbread is in the khaki shirt, picked the menu over the homecoming, and the cameras of the ballet stand documented the choice. And the Mirror has been pinging on a related receipt all weekend. Their analysis argues that Meghan's continued monetization of her Australia wardrobe through the one-off fashion app, who uses that app? I don't know, is actively undermining Harris' chances of getting taxpayer-funded security restored for an Invictus Games trip later this year. The Home Office cannot fund private security for a couple whose wardrobe is for sale on the internet. The brand math is the security math. And the man at Nobu is paying the price for the candle on the card. Yeah. More than $64. But let me know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Royal Rogue. Much love and bliss.